This is chapter 8, pages 186 to 223. The topic is plot, and one of the details is an artful arrangement of incidents. Plot is an artful arrangement of incidents in a story, with each incident building on the next in a series of causes and effects. An example, I chose the poem Greasy Lake by T. Coraghesson Boyle. Once the narrator loses his car keys and taunts the wrong guy, the guy that was there, the plot thickens. Another detail was the suspense, a sense of anticipation or excitement about what will happen and how the characters will deal with their newfound predicament. The chapter also describes a crafting plot that includes exposition. It's a presentation of necessary information about the character's setting or character's history provided to make the reader care what happens to the characters in the story. And then the chapter talks about flashbacks, the device of moving back in time to a point before the primary action of the story to reveal how and why this particular group of people crashed in this particular place. And then it talks about foreshadowing, a hint about plot elements to come to both advance the plot and build suspense. And all stories have a protagonist, the main figure in a work of literature. And then a climax, the narrative's turning point in a struggle between opposing forces. And then it describes rising action, story events that increase tension and move the plot towards climax. And it also describes conflict, which stories have, the central problem in a story. Then falling action, resolution, the conclusion of the story or the resolution that follows the climatic moment. And then antagonist, a character in conflict with the protagonist. Now it's on to chapter 9, page 224 to 267. The topic is character. And then it describes a detail, the craft of characterization. And characters are the people who inhabit literary works. Characterization, the way a writer crafts and defines personality, gives us an insight into thoughts and actions that real life rarely permits. And then it also describes motivation, what causes people to behave as they do. An example I found in the poem Who's Irish by Gish Jen. For instance, the character, the grandma, we get a gist of what kind of character she is. Kind of the way she's speaking it's kind of broken language. She's a Chinese woman who is struggling watching her granddaughter Sophie grow up in our culture. So it kind of gives us a gist of how she is as a character. Another detail, supporting detail, is what you see is what you get. In literature, physical appearance has meaning beyond a simple list of features. Another detail is what's in a name. A writer may choose a name to suggest a certain nature. Authors may reveal aspects of characters by their choice of names, though the meaning of those names may often turn ironic. The next detail is the clothes make the man or woman. I've got an example from Miss Brill by Catherine Mansfield. She begins her story describing a fur that Miss Brill wears. Details of the fur and the attitude of Miss Brill towards it reveals characteristics of herself. Detail, let's see. We are what we do. What characters do can include a wide array of possibilities that represent who they are. Can you hear me now? Another significant means of understanding characters comes to us through dialogue. Let's see. The next supporting detail is round and flat characters. A round character is a character with complex, multifaceted characteristics, behave as real people. A flat character possesses a very narrow range of speech and action. These figures are predictable and do not develop over the course of the plot. And then I've got the next one that the chapter describes as a dynamic character, meaning that their personality and behavior alter over the course of the action in response to challenges and changing circumstances. And now an anti-hero, a main character who acts outside the usual lines of heroic behavior. And I've got an example of an anti-hero in the poem Sonny's Blues by James Baldwin. Sonny carries himself as an anti-hero, the way he offers himself to music. And that's it.